Hello, welcome back to Math 7. Today we are talking about the triangle condition, and we're going to try to figure out whether something can form a triangle, and if so, if that triangle is unique. Alright, so use the given information about a triangle to predict whether the triangle is unique or not. So if we think about this, well, we've got these two angles and this side length. Well, because we know these two angles, we know this angle, and all three angles are fixed, and since this side length is fixed and that angle is fixed and that angle is fixed, there's only one point they can meet. So this one is unique. Alright. However, let's take a look at this one. It gives us the three angles, but we could make everything bigger and we could get a larger and smaller versions of this same triangle. So this one down here is not unique. Knowing all three sides, well, that pretty much is going to force the angle, so this one is unique. So we can just go ahead and copy and paste and grab that one here. And then this one, we know the angle and two sides. Well, that's going to force this last piece because it always has to go down that one, so this one is also unique. So I'm going to grab this one and call that one unique. Alright? So, when three sides are given, if the lengths meet at the endpoints, then they will form a unique triangle. Okay? And so we can just sort of sketch a triangle in there. Insert, shape, triangle. We'll do a right triangle. So if we know all three sides, there's only sort of one way to do that. When two sides and an angle are given, they will also form a unique triangle. So let's go ahead and insert a different triangle in there. So let's think about it. If we know two sides and an angle, well, okay, so this is applicable only when that angle is in between the two sides that we know. So if we know a side, an angle, and a side, then we know that that is going to form a unique triangle. However, there are a couple ways in which you could have the same angle, have two sides and an angle. So say we had this angle over here, and we could do that. So it just means specifically if we have an angle between the two sides. Alright? So if we have side, angle, side, that's going to be a unique triangle. See if you can figure out why that is not necessarily a unique triangle if we, say, had an angle and then this side over here. Alright, see if you could come up with an example where you could actually come up with two different triangles there. Alright? Now, two angles and one side. So when two angles and one side are given, if the angles have a sum of less than 180 degrees, then they will form a unique triangle. Alright, so if we know two angles, so let's go ahead and draw a side, and draw two angles. So if we know this angle and this angle, oh, it'd help if I didn't try to move something, I just drew a new line. Well, there's only one way that they can meet, right? There's only one triangle that can be formed there. As long as those two angles are less than 180 degrees when we add them up, then there's still a third angle that can be in there. And why did I put a Q there instead of an E there? Alright. When all three angles are given, then if the angles meet the angle sum theorem, meaning they add up to 180 degrees, they will form more than one triangle. Meaning we can make bigger and bigger triangles. So if we take this triangle here, and we copy it, then we copy it again, except for this time we're going to make it just a little bit bigger. Let's see if we can do that like that. Oh, and maybe actually put it behind the other one. Oh, maybe we should just make it smaller then. So if we look at it, these two triangles all have the same angles, but they have different side lengths. Alright? So we can do that again by making an even smaller one, and dropping that one in there, and then making sure the angles actually line up. There we are. So now we've got a bunch of triangles that are the same angles but are different sizes. So this is all sorts of different triangles that are all this, have all the same angles. Alright, so we're trying to figure out whether something forms a unique triangle or not. And let's go ahead and look at these ones. Alright, so how many triangles are formed based on this? If we have a length 7, 8, and 9, well, that is going to form one unique triangle. Because if we know three sides, and those three sides can make a triangle, meaning the big side is less than the sum of the smaller two, so we can say 9 is less than 8 plus 7, so it forms a triangle. Right? Let's look at these. Well, we've got 1.5, 3, and 1.5. That actually does not make any triangles because 1.5 plus 1.5 is not greater than 3, so no triangle. Alright, let's look at these. Again, it's going to be no triangle. Why? Well, the two short sides don't add up to something more than the bigger side. So we can say 4 plus 2 is not greater than 8. Alright, and then this one is a unique triangle because 5 plus 5 is greater than 5. The two smaller sides, which are 5, are, when added together, are larger than the large side. Let's look at these. Do they add up to 120 degrees? Not 120. What's the magic number for triangles? They add up to 180. So let's check this out. We've got 70 plus 90, that's 160, 170, 180. So this is multiple triangles, because we can just make them bigger or smaller. Okay, so we have the, we can scale them up and down with the same angles. Right? Oh, and it looks like I should make that text smaller, just so everything fits in. There we go. Well, let's look at this one. Again, we've got three angles. Do they add up to 180? Well, in this case, they don't, because we've got 55 plus 45, that's 100. That's 175. So it's not a triangle. Alright, this one, let's see, 14, so that's 54. 54 plus 126, that is 180, so that's multiple triangles. And it's by the same logic before. We can scale them up and scale them down. This last one does not add up to 180, so it's no triangle. Okay? Now, let's look at this one. We'll answer this question here. Two sides of a triangle have lengths 7 and 15. Which inequality represents the possible lengths for the third side? Well, we could say that x is the big angle, which means it's got to be less than 15 plus 7, so it's got to be less than 22. And or x could be the, sorry, not the big angle, the big side. So if x is the big side, it's got to be smaller than 7 plus 15, which is 22. And if it's the small side, then 7 plus x has to be bigger than 15. So that gives us 8. So our answer here is A. Let's look at this one. We want the three of them to add up to be 180. So we're going to try those and see. So this one is 180. This one is 180. Ooh, this one is not 180 when we add those up, so the answer is B. B does not add up to 180, and all of the other ones do. So go ahead and summarize today's lesson. Shouldn't take too long, and then you have plenty of time to practice and work on the assignment.